Hello, everyone, and welcome to our self-management skill number 4, which is the skill of resilience. We tend to define resilience as bouncing back after adversity, after going through a difficult experience. However, every bouncing back is actually a transformation. We develop more spaciousness, more understanding, compassion, empathy. We develop certain human qualities by emerging out of these difficult experiences. And Joanne Borisenko is a psychologist who has spent decades studying the mind-body relationship. So she has this course about the resilience called It's Not the End of the World, Developing Resilience in Times of Change. So these difficult experiences tend to be in between spaces or liminal stages between no longer and not yet. So every kind of very deep transformation of our life perspective, of our life experience, tends to be very painful. And difficulties can be doorways into understanding, and I'll mention that in the previous slide. So we have the tendency to rush through these experiences because they are painful. Another very famous book is called Man's Search for Meaning, written by Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl has been a psychologist who survived the death camp at Auschwitz, and he went through unbearable experiences. He lost all his family on his return. So he tells the story of his experience in the death camps and the importance of meaning for people who continue to live despite those unbearable, unlivable conditions that they lived in. So he talks about the importance of meaning and hope in going through very difficult experiences. Those people who did not have hope that there would be a coming out of those experiences, they tended to, give up on their life. So resilience is this experience of transformation after going through a difficult life experience. I like this verse from Sia's song, The Greatest. You might have heard the song and you have the link to it here. Another scar may bless you. When we feel scarred, so when we go through a difficult experience of loss, of abandonment, of pain, we do not feel that as a blessing. On the contrary, we want it to end. We want it to be away from us because it is unbearable. However, if we understand that that experience will have an end and that there will be a transformation, and usually a positive transformation at the end of it, it will be easier to go through the experience. Right? It's almost like going through an operation that is difficult and you fear it and it's painful, but you have the hope that things will be better at the end of it. So that will help, because if you have no hope that you will be better at the end of it, you will not want to go through the pain of the experience. So I have checked some research on resilience, and a lot of studies show certain qualities that we have that make us more resilient. More resilient. So we need to have patience, right? So it's important to understand that a difficult experience is a liminal stage, is a stage between one way of being and a new way of being. And Joseph Campbell, a very famous psychologist, talked about the hero's journey when we come home to ourselves and we undo our social self. So these are periods of darkness and suffering, but they also end up in a positive transformation. Realism. So people with a sense of realism go through difficult experience with more easiness than people who have the tendency to create perfect scenarios in their head about the best things that could happen. So realism means being solidly present and grounded. So having a realist sense of what could go wrong. That does not mean increasing our fear of what could go wrong, but being aware at the back of our minds that there is a possibility that things may not come out the way we want, and still being able to live with that. People who are resilient also have creativity, so they are able to do the best out of difficult circumstances. So let's say that you experience abandonment, which is very painful, or a painful breakup. Creativity means that you will find ways to soothe yourself, right? You will find ways to help you go through the difficult experience, such as searching for friends, engaging in activities that are meaningful. Hope. Now, hope is an interesting emotion, and hope, a lot of studies show that people who are high in hope, they tend to be much more resilient than people who lose hope easily. Now, hope is more than the sunny view that things will come out right. It is believing that you have the will and the way to come out of a difficult situation. So it is good to maintain a balance between hope and realism. So hope, if you have too much hope, right, you will tend to feel extremely defeated if things did not come out the way you desired them. On the other hand, if you don't have hope, then you will not find the strength to go through a difficult experience and to transform yourself through it. Searching for the support of friends or family is essential in difficult times. And I like this quote, that the greatest thing you can do is hold the light for another person when their light is flickering. We all have difficult times in our lives, and when we don't go through difficult times, we can be the support for our friends or family members who go through difficult times. Cultivating humor is an essential aspect of resilience. Many cultures that have experienced difficulty, they have developed a sense of humor which is called black humor, or the sense of absurdity of life events or of hardships. So we can cultivate a sense of humor even when we go through very difficult or painful experiences. So resilience is this ability to transform ourselves through difficulty. And when we see difficulties as doorways into understanding, it will be easier to develop the patience to go through difficulty. So resilience is the opposite of losing hope. When we lose hope, we either extend for indefinite time our painful period, or we do not come out of it. So we do not experience that transformation. So with our capacities for resilience, we grow up as human beings, developing other qualities that maybe we did not have before the difficult experience. As an exercise that you can do by pausing this video, or you can do at the end of the video, think of a difficult experience. It can be a recent experience, or maybe if you experienced a more difficult one in the past, you can think about it and write down how you think the experience transformed you. So what qualities do you think you have now as a result of that experience? Do you have any qualities? Do you have any negative aspects as a result of that experience? So, for example, if you experience a sense of abandonment as a result of breakup, did you develop certain qualities of strength and self-love, or did you develop a lack of trust in either men or women? So take a few minutes to think about how that difficult experience transformed you. So resilience is this ability to go through difficulty with developing certain human qualities that will be useful for us along our lives. Now we end this video here, and we will continue with the self-management skill number 5 in the following video. Thank you for your attention.